Today we're going to be taking a look at the H4 7000 lumen LED headlight module by Cyclops Adventure Sports. In the box there's everything that you need to install the headlight, along with a small spacer that you can use to adjust your low beam cutoff. The LED headlight module is pretty much self-contained. There's the LED bulb, the H4 base, a heat sink, and also a small pigtail connector that leads to an LED adapter module and your standard harness plug-in. It's a direct replacement for the XT250's halogen headlight, and Cyclops Adventure Sports does make a 3800 lumen version along with this 7000 lumen version. To remove your factory front fairing, all you have to do is remove the two bolts on either side of the factory fairing. And then, in order to pull the fairing off, you have to lift up on the two wings and just pull straight up. You'll also need to remove the three bolts that hold the headlight housing to your actual instrument column. There's three bolts that you'll need to take care of at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions. Make sure you don't miss the bottom one, or else you'll pretty much figure out that you can't remove it without it. Your headlight housing should just pretty much flop down, exposing a rubber dust boot and your headlight harness plug-in. So you'll need to go ahead and pull off that factory harness off of your bulb. As you can tell, it's the same one as the Cyclops Adventure Sports. You'll need to remove that dust boot, and we will need to modify this later on in order to fit around that heatsink. And it is labeled top, so you can't really mess up reinstalling it. In order to remove the retainer ring, just go ahead and spin it counterclockwise, and it'll go ahead and lift up and away from the headlight housing. That allows you to pull the halogen bulb out. And I kept mine just in case anything happens with this H4 replacement. It's always good to have your spare parts. So, as you can see, it's a direct plug-in to your factory harness, and now is a good time to go ahead and test out if the unit will work with your bike. So, there's the low beam setting, switching it to high, back to low, and up to high again. As you can see, it's kind of got a blue tinge to it, and of course the white balance on this video isn't really corrected, but it does definitely have a blue tinge to it. And this part's kind of optional. I mean, you don't have to do this, but in order to install it onto my XT250 using the factory grommet, the rubber dust boot, I did have to remove this ring. This is also the same step that you'll need to insert the spacer if you want to adjust your low beam cutoff. But just remove those two Phillips screws, make sure you don't lose them, and then you can go ahead and pull off that ring right there. So, ideally, the rubber dust boot would just slip on, but there's these two wings on the LED headlight that don't fit. So you'll have to cut a relief notch into the rubber dust boot, or two relief notches, in order for it to slip over past those two notches. I went ahead and flipped it inside out, and then went to reinstall the H4 ring, H4 mounting base on there. And of course this is optional. I mean, I know some people who didn't even install their dust boot back on there, but I highly suggest that you put it back on there to make it a little bit more weather and dust resistant. So it should just plug back in. There's only one way to insert it. Reinstall that retaining ring by twisting it clockwise. Go ahead and plug in that little pigtail connector into the Cyclops LED module and hook your LED headlight up to your factory wiring harness. Make sure you remember to reinstall your dust boot. I went ahead and tucked my LED module wherever there was space, and then I zip tied it to secure it. And you want to make sure that on full steering lock left and right, there's nothing that's going to be pinched or in danger of getting pinched. Reinstalling the headlight's easy. You You just insert the bolts where you found them at the 3, 6, and 9 position, and make sure you tighten those down. And now is a good time to actually test if that headlight does work, once again, between the high and low settings, before you get everything buttoned up and tightened down, just to make sure you didn't mess anything up and make sure it does still work. Once again, make sure everything's tight after you've checked that the headlight actually works with your bike. And yes, it did work with the XT250. Just tighten everything down. Make sure it's secure. Make sure you don't have any extra nuts or bolts. And go ahead and reinstall your factory headlight fairing, your front fairing. With the XT250, you want to make sure that those two wings actually get clipped onto your front fender. And of course, there is a little bit of adjustment that you can do with installing your front fairing, but I have dropped my bike a couple times, so my fairing is a little bit damaged. But a good push, usually.
Alright. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. As you can tell, my light is no longer yellow, it is a light blue. I just went ahead and put in the Cyclops Adventure Sports H4 headlight, LED headlight, 7,000 lumens. We're gonna go ahead and try it out down the same road that I went down earlier this evening, and we're gonna go ahead and check out what the differences are. I'm really happy with the results of this thing. It is insanely bright, and the install was just plug and play. I didn't have to do pretty much anything crazy except for cutting the dust boot on the headlight, and other than that, it was really simple. It's pretty much just plug and play. I'm glad I got the 7,000 lumen one because honestly, this thing is bright as F. And of course there are people in front of me. I wish there weren't people in front of me because I'm high beaming them. But hey, I didn't force them to run down this road. They did that themselves. And as you can see, my fuel light is on, so I can't really go too far. But on the way back, I'll go ahead and let some people pass, and we'll see just how bright this thing is. Looks like I got 1 or 2 people behind me. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off to the side here, catch you in a little bit. Actually, we'll go ahead and keep on talking. This is probably the best $80 I've ever spent on my bike so far. Like, look at it. Nothing really beats the price that nothing really beats the money that you invest in your own safety. And being visible is, I got another person over here. Being visible is probably one of the most important things you can do on a motorcycle. And especially when people don't see motorcyclists at night or in the evening, something like this, a light that's not the same exact color as, you know, the setting sun, will greatly increase your chances of staying alive out there. And wow, this thing is awesome. Look at that. But anyways, it costs like $80 or something like that. $85 shipped. Took about 2 or 3 days to get to my place. Super simple to install. Took me less than an hour, and I was recording video as you guys are watching right now. And look at it. It's just amazing. I can't wait to hit the dirt on this thing. Wow. So cool. I highly recommend it. I mean, of course, this is just the first trial run of it, but hell, it works. It works straight out of the box, and it works just as they said it would. It's bright. It does come with some pretty good instructions, but F that noise. I went ahead and just looked on the internet for some videos and just did it that way. But man, this thing is bright. Look at that. As you guys know, I run with a tinted visor, and something like this definitely helps out because of course I run with the visor down to keep the wind and bugs out of my face, but I can see totally fine. I can see way better. Not totally fine, but I can see way better with this H4 7000 lumen headlight. And wow, I'm super surprised. I'm at a loss for words. Like I knew it was going to be a simple install because some of my other buddies have it for their bigger bikes, and I was like, there's no way they make it for the, you know, the XT250. And it turns out the XT250 just has an H4 headlight base, and they make Cyclops Adventures makes a drop-in H4 replacement bulb. But anyways, guys, I'm getting close to my house right now, so I'll go ahead and talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and until next time, peace out. And oh yeah, if you have any questions about the headlight, go ahead and feel free to ask them in the comments. Say, wow, holy cow, I can't even, you know, the differences is so amazing. It's like night and day. Holy cow, if you only have one light, it might as well be super bright. The XT250 headlight sucks nutsack from the factory. I'm really glad that you went ahead and invested in a really bright headlight, because man, look how bright it is. So cool. Good work, NoOne. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Peace out. I want to go home. I'll talk to you guys later.